The time is 6:01. We are now officially 1 minute late. I'll take the blame for that. And we will call the meeting to order at 6:01. Ms. Greer, please call the roll. I don't have a gavel, so I'll use my fist. Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Clark. Here. Corcoran.
Here.
Elvin.
Here.
Madison. Scott.
Here.
Perryman Tanks.
Here.
And Tyler.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and I did hear from Paige. I know she's not going to make it. She's making her way in from out of town, so I know she's not going to be here. We'll go to item number 2, approval of the agenda. The agenda was circulated prior to today's meeting. Are any questions on the agenda? Hearing none, without objection, we'll pass a motion to approve the agenda by unanimous consent. Is there an objection to doing that?
Yeah, I needed to just, I'm gonna wait till you do that part.
Do you want to add something? Or
No.
So we're fine on the agenda?
Well, when I get to the personnel, you have to add it to.
That's consent agenda?
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right.
That's why I said I'll wait till you do that.
Okay. So we good on the agenda? All right. Without objection, then we'll pass a motion to approve the agenda by unanimous consent. Seeing no objection, the agenda is hereby approved. We'll go to item number 3, consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda this evening. The minutes for February 10th, personnel actions from today. Any question on those 2 items?
Yeah, I had a question on the personnel item.
Before we pull it off, what's your question?
The question is about the contract,
For an individual?
yes.
Okay, we'll pull it. So we're going to pull personnel actions in its entirety off the agenda, off the consent agenda, and we'll move it to item 7E. And we'll have now just 1 item on the consent agenda, which are the minutes. Is there an objection to passing those by unanimous consent? Hearing none, then we have passed the minutes that are on the consent agenda, and we will talk about the personnel actions under item 7E. Action items, okay? All good? Everybody with me? Mm-hmm. All right, very good. Dawn, estamos aquí? Okay, all right.
Gracias.
So we'll go to item number 4 then, presentations, 2024-25 amended budget summary, and Dr. Foster.
That's me.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Did y'all catch that?
Yes.
Did you catch that? Maybe I was the only one that was questioning.
She's merits now.
I was the only one that was like, what in the world is happening with the agenda? I don't know who
this
Foster
person
is.
is.
And, you know, Angel was like, is something wrong? Something is wrong. I don't know who this is. So, okay. Well, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. What happened? Okay. Good evening again, members of the board, superintendent, district employees, and community members. Again, my name is Dr. Sharice Foster. I am here to come before you to ask for your approval of the amended budget for fiscal year 24-25. What I plan to do is do a crosswalk of our current revenue projection and expenditures, and kind of explain where we are as a district as it relates to our fund balance. So if you recall, June of 2024, the board approved the budget. I'm starting with revenue, pages 2 and 3. We'll start with the revenue. You approved revenue in the amount of $57,953,950. What revenue represents is the monies that's coming in from the to the district. It's coming in various buckets, and this first slide is showing you just kind of the buckets. I broke it down in sections to give you an idea of how the revenue is kind of categorized. The first is our operating millage, local funding. That funding kind of looks like taxes, etc. State funding are those dollars that come directly from the state into the district. One thing I want you all to pay attention to as it relates to the state budget is when we project our budget, as you know, our budgets are due by June 30th of the school year. The state's budget is normally due by October. So that's why it's oftentimes that we have to come before you once or twice a year for an amendment because we're projecting the upcoming year based off what our current expenses are and what we're proposing for the upcoming year. A lot of that would change, hence my reason for the amendment now because of how the state funding came in. Another category that our revenue is under grants, and that's both state and federal, and our RESA millage and miscellaneous costs. Those revenues are things that come in like someone may rent a facility or someone's getting a badge replacement, things of those natures. That's what the miscellaneous is. So the amended projection from $57 million, I'm proposing an amount of $55,684,590. Page 3 will give you a more clear breakdown of what that revenue looks like. So again, I'll pull out some examples. I talked about the local revenue. Those are property taxes, the monies we receive from child care, our latchkey, interest on investments. Those are the monies that we bring in from the interest that we get from our bank accounts from Comerica Bank and other local revenue. We also, again, have our state revenue. So what you'll see from the left, the far left, the 24-25, that was the original submission in June. The blue is what I'm proposing now, and then the last column is what that difference looks like. So when you see the numbers in brackets, that's a credit, because we're talking revenue. So wherever you see a credit is where the increase is. Where you see whole dollars is where a decrease is. So looking at the state, let's look at a few items. We have our special ed Headley. Again, these budgets from the state are, they come about in October of the year, so we pretty much overcast what we thought we were getting. This is, so for this year, instead of the 13 million plus, we have 12 million plus, a difference of over $1 million. 31A, we had noticed that we were going to get a reduction on 31A costs. Initially, last year was a little over $4 million. This year, we're at put these glasses back on, a difference of $157,000. Going further down, where you see there was initially no budget, that means that that's new funding for the year. So in 24-25 original budget, where you see that there's zero, that means at the time we had no funding under that category or under that funding source. 31AA mental health, that's another big variance from what our projection was from last year, because last year we got quite a bit. This year, as you can see, there was a significant decline in funding. Had nothing to do with our student enrollment, nothing to do with Oak Park specifically. It's just the funding that the state decided to cut that amount of funding for the state across the board. Again, when you see the zeros, those are new grants that we pulled in this year. Federal and state grants, Michigan Works, an increase of funding for this program. We serve as the third-party flow-through. Last year, $2.2 million. This year, they were awarded $3,391,282 in grant funding, a difference of $1.1 million. Title I, we have a small increase of $89,000, and then IDEA flow-through. We were just awarded another $600,000+ for fiscal year 25-26. That was not, available at the start of the end of last year. So what I want to bring your attention to are going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, row 52. Let's talk about those rows. So again, June 30, we were approved for $57,953,950. This year to date, as of this date, I'm projecting revenue in the amount of $55,684,590. The next column, the next row underneath is what we'll talk about next, and those are the expenditures. From the projection into where we are now, our expenditures are higher than our revenue. Last year, when we proposed the budget, we had a decreased funding of $429,152, which left us with a fund balance, a beginning fund balance of $13,683,323. And what that figure is saying, after everything is spent, after we spent all this money, all the revenue came in, at the end of the day, this is what we have left, which is a very healthy fund balance of approximately 23-24%. Last year, we approved a fund balance of $13,254,171. Where we are now with the projection, the difference that you see from the fund balance that I proposed in June, when we project, we have to project what we think the expenses will be up to June 30. This $14 million that's referenced here is what the auditors came back with us with a fund balance. And that's because when the audit gives us our fund balance, that's based on the actual cost that actually hit the books June 30. So what this difference of these two amounts was towards the end of the month in June, a E-rate technology program that we funded that was a little over $1 million. We knew it was coming, but by the time June 30th hit, it hadn't taken place yet. Those expenses didn't really hit until after July, which is why when the audit has their $14 million, they didn't show that expense. All in all, to say in a good way that the fund balance that we're proposing now is $13,265,318, which is an increase of what was approved from last year. This is a very conservative amount. It has a ton of cushion. This money includes all current positions, the ones that have been proposed today, last week, and with a very high ORS rate to make sure that we have a nice fund, a nice cushion, but careful at the same time. This amount, to be honest with you, if I was to take every employee's ORS rate and even do an average cost of it, this fund balance would have been increased by easily $60,000, $70,000. But for right now, we're going to say an increase of $11,147. So for pages 4, 5, and 6, these are various breakdowns of our expenses to give you an idea of what those expenses look like. You have instruction, instructional support, etc. These are all the categories. You can see a breakdown of where the funding decreased or increased. Here, because we're talking about expenses, where you see the parentheses, that is a decrease in funding, decrease in expenses. Page 5 breaks it down even better. Salaries, you'll see a decrease in $421,104. Again, this is projecting all salaries through today even. Salaries and benefits. Purchase services mean those are services that we purchase. Instead of it being an FTE, it can be a software program. It can be someone coming in and bringing a field trip in place. That's a service that we purchase versus paying a salary. Obvious supplies and material. Capital outlays are those items that at least one cost is $5,000 or more, and then our other costs. When you look at page 6 and 7, an even more granular breakdown. Towards the back of your package, you'll have a list of function codes that explain what each function code represents. So just for example, all these function codes, 111 through 119, represents like the grade span. So 111 would be elementary, 112 would be middle school, 113 high school, 118 preschool, and 119 summer school, and etc. So this will give you an even more granular idea of exactly what every penny has been spent. And then last but not least, I'm requesting an amended budget as relates to our bond capital project funds. As you know, we are in the process of selling the third series of our bond in the amount of $22,259,000. I'm projecting about $250,000 in interest with a total revenue of $22,509,000. The expenditures, we still have about $3 million left from the second series. We're proposing about $7 million spent by June 30th of this particular bond. With the bond issuance cost, this amount represents like fees and et cetera for those that are helping us maneuver and get the bond through. With an excess of revenue of $15,373,900. Projected fund balance for our bond of Series 3 by June 30th. We're projecting about $15,373,000 unspent. And again, these are your function codes that coincide with those items on page 6 and 7 to give you a more granular breakdown and understanding. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the board? Dawn?
I had a question in regards to, I know the governor just had her state aid budget that she spoke on. And a lot of that, I noticed that there was some increases in the pupil size. Was that included into this projection? Because her budget came out on February 5th.
So her budget is for the 2026 year?
Yeah, 25,
So
26.
so it starts October 1, 2025. This is for current.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so, I deal with that crap all the time. Any additional questions on
But I guess I was bringing that up only because of the projection, you know, it still will fall over to the next school semester. That's why I was,
The end number you're talking about?
yes, just how,
So-
Yeah. Go ahead.
So in June, when we present you the new projected budget, you will see that $10,000 per
okay,
pupil.
gotcha. That's what I'm
Then,
If it passes.
if,
Correct.
And we may or may not know that.
Until
We'll deal with
after.
it, so we may have to
Yeah.
provide.
That's why I was just asking,
Yeah.
but, you
so
know,
we're
we
gonna
keep it in
project,
mind.
we're gonna project status quo, and if we get more, then we'll
Mhm.
amend more, but we're not gonna anticipate for more, because then we'll have an issue if it doesn't pass.
That's why I was asking that question, from my understanding, you know.
I bet you at Essentia that we don't get 10,000 per pupil.
No.
I mean, 10,000, I bet you, whatever the number is, I bet you in Essentia, it doesn't end up that way.
10,000 is a lot.
By the time the choppers get a hold of that, it's gotta pass both houses, and I don't see what happens. Anything else from members of the board on questions? Okay, I have one.
Sure.
Fund balance.
Yes.
Percentage.
23.4. Well, 23.4%, yes. That's our fund balance.
That's high.
No? Yep, so if you want to, let me show you how to do it? Just so,
No?
no? Okay.
I'm gonna take your word for it. You said it. I'm gonna
That's
take-
why I
yes.
was hoping to do 18 when I was talking to you guys.
Yeah,
That's where
that's-
you got it from.
That's,
Yeah, and just to
That's
put it in
healthy.
perspective, you know, the state wants districts to be above 5%. So just kind of give you an idea where we are with it, because at the point you fall under 5%, if anything happens, your roof's just, something just blows, they're just gonna blow your budget, you're not in a position to get a loan, et cetera. So 23% is where we are.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else from members of the board? Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, we're at item 5, reports. Superintendent Abdullah.
Thank you, President Alvin. As you recall, you asked when we presented you an information item with 2 assistant principals. In this budget, it's embedded in there, and we're still coming with an increased fund balance. So the 2 assistant principals that we presented for you for Pepper and Einstein are embedded into this budget, and the HR manager and all of that, and we're still, with everything that we're doing, we're still growing our fund balance. So sometimes people on the outside, they don't truly see that. I credit the team for their hard work and diligence and everything that they're doing, so I applaud the team for that. So that answers your request on when you asked about, you know, can we absorb that? We absolutely can, and we're still pressing forward. Another thing that we are reporting, the board should have received an invite from our high school, from our elementary principal on a theater play. There's another one that you should have received in the evening for the read-in that went out from Miss Murphy. One went out from Miss Bronzola, another one went out from Miss Murphy regarding the read-in. And we will do an evening event with Ruby Bridges with Detroit Youth Choir. The one that's in district is only for 4th and 5th graders, for our students. The one in the evening is for everyone, community, and
Mr. Abdullah, who's
Yeah.
Ruby Bridges?
you're asking me?
Don't you-
All right,
I know who she is. You gotta follow the clues, man. Come on.
Okay, so she was a fierce advocate on Black and Brown.
I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
Who's Ruby Bridges? Trustee Clark, do you don't know?
Of course I am.
Okay,
Articulating it will take too long. You
Give me the like.
You
Don't
got it.
bury the lead.
You got it.
Just
You-
don't bury.
You do it.
Oh my gosh.
You do it. You got it.
Will somebody say who Ruby Bridges is, please?
The first African American to attend a first segregated school.
Thank you. That's so rare. That's it. That's all I wanted. That's it.
Rambling.
And told them she was going to be there.
And some of us got to see her right? So that's why I threw that out there, sir.
And
I didn't mean to catch you off
No,
guard.
no, my face is red, but I can feel the heat from my face. But the reason, we're not far removed from that, and if you see what's happening in politics today, it'll show you that you're not far removed from what people have to fight for. So that is a play that we've been invited to, and the community has been invited to. So that's, I believe, this Friday. And lastly, our band is performing. I don't know what city, what town in New Orleans, President Elvin, in case you grill me on that, but they are
Here we go.
attending New
All
Orleans. They are attending, and we had the privilege of seeing them play during our visit. Trustee Tyler was there accompanying us, and they played a piece for us, and that's phenomenal, to understand where they were and where they are now.
And
That was my clue to just be quiet and doing it.
It's all good.
All right.
Just for context, from members of the board who may not be as familiar, Ruby Bridges is the young lady in the picture, pretty popular picture, being escorted into school by federal marshals. If you Google her name, the picture usually comes up like right away. So yeah, what was that?
She's only 7 years old.
She's only 7 years old, which makes her younger than my mom, right? So that's important context. That, as you said, it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's happening in Washington today, you don't even need to look any further than Target yesterday in Southfield, right? So, but if you look at what's happening in Washington today, we're definitely not that far removed, and seemingly like we're going back. Okay, you have more?
So it's funny you mentioned Target. So I know we kind of put the personnel action, so I'll just tell you a little bit about each person here. Since we started talking about Target, we Robin, who I introduced to you, came from the Target world. And one of the questions that I asked her was, why, you're leaving corporate to come in there. And something that resonated with me was she wanted to feel part of something meaningful. And she didn't like, I don't want to misquote you, but she didn't like the way the direction Target was heading. And so she wanted to either, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but she either wanted to work at a non-for-profit or wanted to work somewhere where it had meaning and purpose behind that. And so she's coming with a strong background in employee relations, strategic workforce management, training development. She served on the HR business partners at Target, where she supported multiple locations in Metro Detroit area, leading employee relations and strategies, talent management initiatives, and cultural building efforts that directly improve retention and engagement, which is something that we badly need here. She got her MBA from Roosevelt University and a Bachelor's of Science from Kent State. So we're hoping that you approve this position when it comes up. And the other person that is also looking for inspiration, and some of you may have known her, and she has been part of inspiring people. Yvonne, who is, we're seeking approval to be the assistant principal at OPA, she used to work here and she wanted to return back home. And it took me 10 minutes of talking to her when I knew that that was the person for the job. And on a side note, I've never seen Mr. Island smile from ear to ear as much as I do today. So that further reassures me that we've made the right decision with Yvonne. So I'm hoping and seeking your approval on both of these candidates. So that's all.
Okay. Anything that Mr. Abdullah had covered? So we don't catch you off guard. I don't want to talk about anything you
You
do.
caught me. Too late.
I want to talk about Ms. Ty, I was going to call her by her first name, but I'm not used to calling her by her first name. But I can say that she is a great asset to Oak Park. When she was here, my daughter had a math class. She struggled with math until she met this teacher here when she was a math teacher at Oak Park High School. And Al, I was talking to you.
Oh, I'm listening. I was just, go ahead.
I'm just saying.
I am listening. I don't know who's talking to me only,
I'm
but
talking
I'm,
to you.
okay, I'm
because,
listening.
I just wanted to say that, she was a great math teacher. My daughter didn't understand the math because when we were in Ohio, they had Chicago math. So Chicago math is totally different than Michigan math. So when she came, she was so discombobulated and she was so frustrated. And one day she came and said, I got it. And when she said, I got it, ever since then, she's never forgotten. And then when I attended OCC, I had her dad was my professor at OCC. So I just want to say that the education goes generation to generation, and thank you for applying.
Okay, all right. Anything else Mr. Abdullah had covered? Nothing? Okay. All right, we'll go to item 6, public participation. Public participation is one-way communication in which members of the public are asked to address the full board. I actually memorized this by now, I've said it so much. With the understanding that board members will not be able to respond. Do we have the card ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Let's prepare the text, let's get it.
Because the Oak Park Board of Education values public meetings, not just meetings in public, we welcome public comments on school issues. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due process for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. The public comment portion of the meeting cannot be used to make personal attacks against a school board member or a school direct employee that disrupt the order of the meeting and are totally unrelated to the manner in which the member or employee performs his or her duties. Speakers should be aware that if statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, such comments may result in legal liability. Most comments are, most comments can be concisely stated in 3 minutes, and the board respectfully asks that comments remain focused on the topic or issue and not be directed at specific personnel or board members.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the board?
Greetings.
Please bring your card to Ms. Greer, please. You should hand the card to Ms. Greer.
Yes.
Thank you. What is his name?
Mr. Jacob Van Loon?
That's correct.
Mr. Van Loon, the floor is yours, sir.
Wonderful. Hello, I'm Jacob Van Loon. I'm really excited to be here. I was recommended to speak to the district board on recommendation by a high school teacher in your district, Eric Caldwell. We've been friends for a really long time. I am an educator as well. I've taught in Detroit and Pontiac, and I'm here to tell you guys about some really innovative, fantastic, hands-on, state standards aligned after-school programs and grant writing services that my company offers. I have these packets that outline the benefits of working with us and the types of programs that you'd be able to select from. One that I just want to showcase, because obviously I only have 3 minutes, would be our responsible use of artificial intelligence and self-learning of architectural CAD software. This is at the elementary school level and at the middle school level, and it produces products made by the students that are fantastic for photos and also applicable to sources of local and state grant funding. I know that federal is kind of up in the air right now with the current administration. But in addition to that, there are architectural competitions that the students can later go into, and it provides a path into STEM that is kind of underrepresented in a lot of districts. And that is one of 20 different programs that we offer. I would love to leave these materials with you all, just so that you can consider them, and please reach out to me at your convenience.
You didn't have to rush. Well, I don't have you on the clock yet. You okay? You have any other comments?
I don't believe so at this time, but I hope to hear from you all soon, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else for public participation? Okay, hearing none. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Don't anybody say I tried to omit it. So I don't see anyone else for public comment. Go to action items. Item 7A is approval of Oak Park Youth Assistance Board members. Trustee Scott, do you have that available?
Yeah, I do.
Would you mind reading that one for me, please?
Sure, bear with me 1 moment. So resolved that the Oak Park Board of Education hereby approve the appointment of the following candidates for membership to the Oak Park Youth Assistance Board of Directors. Zandria Clark and Tim
Sikorsky.
Sikorsky.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Tim Sikorsky. Okay, motion made by trustee Scott. Is there a
Second.
Seconded by trustee Tyler. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Greer, please.
I got
call.
questions.
I didn't see your hand. I was sorry. It wasn't intentional. I just
I had a
didn't see
few questions. First, the question was, I did read the motion, but I wanted to ask about, is this a board-appointed position?
When you say board appointed,
Right, because we're handling the youth.
from our side, we're approving this, and it was also, it's also approved at, where,
It's approved at the city level,
that's what I thought.
our level, and the county.
And the other question I had was the functions of this. Can you tell us the function of what you're going to be doing?
So myself and Mr. Sikorsky are involved with the meetings. We have monthly meetings. The pancake breakfast that comes up in July, trunk or treat, I'm sure, the holiday help program, anything that OPYA is involved in. He will be replacing the outgoing seat of Crystal Van Vleck. She's going to be the city manager for Berkeley, and then as well me being on the board and just participating in the meetings and going where they need us.
Is it at all possible that you can give us the report on a monthly basis? Because I know the youth assistance is also, through the court system as well. So
Absolutely,
I
I'm
appreciate it.
more than welcome and willing. I think the idea was for us losing Trustee Smith, they needed a liaison, and since I've been volunteering, et cetera, they would want me to be the liaison between what's going on here to give to them and vice versa. So I'm more than happy to give a report.
Have you met the person that's assigned to our school?
I have not.
Okay.
I probably have, and I just don't know off the top of my head, but I can't call the name.
Understood, thank you.
Anything else? Anything else from any other members of the board? Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Alvin,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Perryman Tanks,
Yes.
and Tyler.
Yes.
Hey, congratulations to trustee Clark. Keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. You obviously care, and you've already been working with them in the past, and don't even mention trunk or treat. You get my money every year, so, here, see. All right, so we'll go to item 7B, resolution authorizing public entity membership in the West Michigan Insurance Pool for a minimum 3-year period. Trustee Clark, would you please read that motion?
keep thinking of the big ones. All right. Resolved that the Oak Park Board approve the following resolution. 1, the board approves the Western Michigan Health Insurance Pool, WMHIP, amended trust agreement and bylaws, and accepts WMHIP's provision of self-funded pool health insurance coverage under the Public Employer Pooled Plan, PEP. 2, the superintendent, manager, CFO, or an appointed designee is authorized to execute all documents necessary for the public entity's membership in WMHIP for a minimum of 3 years. 3, the board appoints Dr. Sharice Foster as trustee and Andrea Farr as alternative trustee, who will serve until replaced by board action and carry out responsibilities per the WMHIP trust agreement. 4, the public entity will remain a member of WMHIP for at least 3 years. 5, all conflicting resolutions are hereby rescinded.
Is there a second?
Second time. Second.
Seconded by trustee Tyler. Any questions on the motion?
That was for long.
That was a long clock. That was a long clock. No. That was a long.
Contract.
Yeah, I know. It's a contract. No.
All right, Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Alvin,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and Perryman James.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. We'll go to item 7C, approval of manner. The S is silent? I would have jacked that up. Custodian audit firm. Anybody want to read that for us?
I read it.
Go forth and conquer.
Resolved that the Oak Park Board of Education hereby appoints the firm of Mannard Custodian to conduct the audit for the fiscal year ending in June 30th, 2025, with the following estimated fees for the services outlined below: financial statement audit $35,500, uniform single audit $5,000, bond capital projects $3,500.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Scott, seconded by trustee Corcoran. Are there any questions on the motion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is it, can I ask why are we suggesting this company?
They worked with Oak Park District for several years, up until 2 or 3 years ago when the district transitioned over to Yo-and-Yo. We're just finding that we'd rather work with an auditing firm that has more experience with K-12 budget and financials versus who we've been with. It would be more favorable in terms of understand how we operate here.
Were we paying them more than this?
Yo-and-Yo?
Yes.
Almost double.
Double. Okay.
Yo-and-Yo, approximately $60,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? You asked mine, so I'm good.
Understood.
All right, Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Alvin,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Perryman James.
Yes.
See you later, Yo-and-Yo.
Okay, item 7D, Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors Engagement Letter Agreement related to services. And since you say I have you read all of the long ones, I'm going to have you read the long one. So trustee Clark.
If you make me laugh right before I read it, that's fine. No worries.
You were prophetic.
I appreciate that. Resolved that the Oak Park Board of Education accepts the agreement letter with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors to furnish and perform the following services. 1, analysis regarding possible voted bond issues project alternatives. 2, assistance with completing required Michigan Department of Treasury applications and schedules if required. 3, provide assistance with completing a competitive or negotiated bond sale as directed by the client. 4, develop terms of financing and assist with bond marketing documents. 5, develop a proposed working group list and bond issuance timetable. 6, prepare all post-bond issuance required documents. 7, assist with all bond closing activities. Fees. The client agrees to pay the firm in consideration for services and expenses incurred as follows. A, the firm's fees for services and expenses rendered shall be in conformance with the fee schedule provided on page A2. B, the Municipal Advisory Council of Michigan bond issuance fee of $450 will be paid by the firm and billed to the client as an expense.
Okay, motion made by trustee Clark. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Thank you. We have a second on that motion. Perryman Tanks.
Pyramid table.
Are there any questions on the motion? That rather long motion.
I actually had a question that, the total is, the starting total of that 450, is that just like a startup and then they charge you as you use them, ask questions?
I can't even say they charge as they use us, like even looking at last year, the total amount paid was $500.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying.
Page 8,
Yeah,
it's more than 4,500 if I'm a successful bond issuance.
Because I know it's a lot of work when you go.
So it's a lot of work, yeah. If you go to page 8,
I saw it, A2.
yeah.
Yep. Any additional questions on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Tyler,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Alvin,
Yes.
Copeland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Perriman Case.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to item 7E, personnel action, February 24th, 2025. Trustee Corcoran, you asked to pull it off, so.
Yes, I had a question in regards to the contract where we talked about the cash in lieu of, health,
Cash in lieu of healthcare.
yes. No, actually, really,
Says B.
every time I go to the picture, it's going to the next page. Cash in lieu of medical insurance
It's from,
In the amount of 400 per month?
Yes, ma'am.
That's healthcare.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I said.
So, is there,
I was wondering what that lieu was. She just answered it. And
Okay.
then I had another question. How much is it for the benefits? Because it gave the salary, but it didn't include the benefits.
Benefits is based on the plan that the individual selects.
Okay.
So every employee has the opportunity to elect a benefit plan, and we provide options.
Okay. Thank you.
additional questions?
No.
Okay, any additional questions?
Mr. Personnel?
Yes.
Okay. I have a couple.
Okay.
All right. So, first of all, I went on a walkthrough, last Thursday. Last Thursday at the high school, and,
Trustee Tyler, if it's not related to one of these people,
it's going into,
it is related to one, okay, okay, go ahead.
yes, going into it. And so, had a walkthrough, and, walkthrough was good. Saw some things that were good, saw some things that need to be improved. Okay, and so, as far as the new gym facility that we're gonna get, it's gonna be on schedule and all of that good stuff. But just some alarming things that I saw, and it's gonna lead me right into this for the personnel action, because there were some issues that I saw was very alarming with restrooms. Restrooms where we had where tables were covering restroom doors, where students were not allowed to use the restroom. And so, in addressing that, it's alarming that we're getting ready to pay for some HR, and we need security, because if the kids can't get in the restroom, and it was told to me, due to security, that we don't have enough security. And so, I don't think in a good conscience with me, with bathrooms not being able to be used by students, is very alarming, and that we need security, because security ought to be our main issue, number one focus outside of educating them, where kids are feeling safe to come to our district. And so, within not a good conscience of me to say that I need to vote on a personnel action for $85,000, and we need security. The bathroom was boarded up because they need security in those hallways. And so we ought to be securing students first, and I know that it's several people in HR. Don't have no issues with assistant principal because we need them. We need an assistant principal at OPA due to everything that's going on. And so I'm just alarming and just not in good conscience of want to pay out $85,000 and we need security because kids are supposed to use the restroom. There's a facility that's upstairs, has not been in use for over a year. The restroom, the bathrooms. That's a civil rights issue to me. And so, within good conscience, I'm not gonna, I'm not. So I don't know, President, if we can split them up or we have to do it all together. But that's my issue. And that's one of my concerns, is that if we need security, we just had a breach in security, we need security. And so, in order for us to say in good conscience, for me, maybe not for you all, but you all didn't do the walkthrough and didn't get to see it. But I saw it. Tables where kids can't go use the restroom because they say they're smoking, but I thought we had sensors in the bathroom. We thought we had sensors to sense it when they go in the bathroom and smoke. And there's several bathrooms at the high school. It's several. One upstairs and two was downstairs. So that means the kids have to go, there's only 1, 2, 3 more restrooms for them to use. So in good conscience, I can't vote for $85,000 salary, and no disrespect to you, please. It's not. I just can't vote for $85,000 salary, and we need security, y'all. We need security.
So Trustee Tyler, two things. Thing one, you asked about whether we can separate it. We can separate if that's what the board chooses to do. We just need a motion to do that. Second, to your comments, I don't disagree with you on the.
And I want you to, just not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I went there today.
Yeah.
I went there today. And my superintendent knew I was going, and my president knew that I was going today. And I'm going to say this, the one door was removed for them to use the restroom, okay, because there's a table there. The other two were not. But we need security so that people can bring their kids and feel safe. I mean, if y'all don't hear it, you hear it in my voice. We need security. And I don't know if we need Dan Burr to come talk to us as a team, as a board, but our security right now is not good. When we boarding up doors and kids got to come from Upper E all the way to the front door to use the restroom.
How many security guards do we have?
So I don't want us to lose focus about what we're trying to do here. We can certainly have that talk, and I think we should. I think it's appropriate for us to question what's going on the security side, so we have students that can go to the bathroom around the building when they need to. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I just think that we can do both. That's all I'm saying. So if you want to go and change these out, and we can ask for a security report. So, and Angel and I have had these conversations. This is what Trustee Tyler is sharing with us, I'm sorry. She had already shared with me, and I shared with Superintendent Abdullah about the need for us to do something about the way things are structured right now.
And the way I was handled today. Period.
So I'm not disputing that. I don't disagree with what Trustee Tyler is saying, and there's a way for us to do that. And we can ask for that, and when you get to your comments at the end, if that's something you'd like to hear from, I'm certain the whole board wants to make sure our kids are safe. So I don't think anybody would begrudge any member from saying we want to hear more about what's happening relative to security at the high school, and as a byproduct of that, the bathrooms being available, all of them, to our students. So as we stay on focus, we don't have a motion at all. So we need a motion. And if someone wants to go one by one, we can do that. But we,
So I put a motion that we split them and they do one by one. Can I say it that way? How do I need to say?
we don't have a motion on the floor at all, so if you wanted to ask that we approve, you name the one,
Okay.
then we can do that.
Hold on for a minute.
Because we moved it off, we don't
Okay.
have an actual motion
Okay.
in front of us. So if
Okay.
you want to go by name, I mean, but if you do that, then whether y'all approve it or not, it's up to you, but I will make the motion for the other one.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
Whatever you do, sir. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so, what is your pleasure, trustee Tyler?
That we separate, that we move.
We're gonna do that anyway, so just, who do you want to approve?
Yvonne Taylor. I'll approve that one.
Okay, so,
I'll approve that.
so there's a motion to approve the personnel action of Yvonne Taylor, okay?
Second.
Okay, there's a second. Is there any unreadiness or any question on that motion?
So
Trustee Clark.
what we're voting on is the motion, or we're voting on the approval?
What do you mean?
So we're making the motion, are we saying yes or no to making this separate, or are we making?
No,
This is the full.
yeah, because we're not approving the whole personnel actions report. We are approving
Just
the
specifically.
one individual, because this was a part of a bigger, a part of the consent agenda, we pulled it off, so if you want to take it one by one.
No, I just wanted to clarify, I don't want to say yes or
Okay,
no.
so we're asking for approval right now of
Yvonne Taylor.
Ms. Taylor,
Yeah, because there's several people down there. Okay,
okay?
okay.
All right,
Go.
so there's only two, right? Only two,
Right.
okay, so we can just go one by one, it's fine.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. President.
there's a motion on the floor to approve the contract of, I'm sorry, the,
Yvonne Taylor.
I don't want to say contract though,
Personal action?
personnel action for Yvonne Taylor. Thank you for that. Wordsmith it for me, get me together. All right, is there a second?
Second.
She made the motion, so the motion was made by trustee Tyler, seconded by trustee Corbett.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as long as you're all right with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
fine, I'm fine.
All right, seconded by trustee Corbett.
Just-
All right, Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Tyler,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Elvin,
Yes,
Corcoran,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
okay, okay,
Speak up. What did she say?
Yes.
yes,
Thank you. Perriman Tanks.
Yes.
okay, so that action passes. All right, and so at this time, then I move for the approval of Robin Johnson.
A second.
I said,
Personal action.
For the Robin Johnson personnel action. Motion is made by myself, seconded by
Second.
trustee Perriman Tanks. Is there a question on that motion? Hearing none, Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Tyler,
no.
Scott,
Yes.
Elvin,
Yes.
Corcoran,
No.
Clark,
Yes.
Perriman Tanks.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. So congratulations to both of you. And then we will go now to information items, which is item 8. So the long and short of it is, we were talking about finance a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, I think. There are some elements, there's so much involved in finance that, you could be here for 10 years and wouldn't understand it all, which is why we have a guru over there to handle these things. You're the guru. But I think I know we have new members. I think there's an opportunity for us to gain some additional understanding about a particular nuance in the finance area. So the finance department proposed a study session to present information on the department's finances, including details on the bond proposal and millage. I think this is a worthwhile time,
Yes.
worthwhile opportunity, and we should spend some time delving into this. I definitely don't think we'll get any dissension from trustee Corbett. So, so let's do it. So if we could all then go to our calendars, personal calendars to figure out, Superintendent Abdullah are there dates you're already proposing, you know what? Follow me. Are there dates you're proposing or not?
Yeah, so, after that discussion, I called Baker Tilly, I talked to Jesse. I asked him to give us some time to do a thorough analysis of bonds, mills, which at that time, I thought you were talking about meals.
I thought you were talking about meals too.
So, afterwards, I was reflecting on it, I'm like, oh, she meant mills. So, he has time in April, so we could do a good data dive on what is dropping, when it's dropping, what we could do, what we could seek, and ideas like that. April would be, because things tend to slow down, April would be a good time, because you got March, the first one, Students of the Month. The second one, he won't have enough time, then you're ready in April then. First meeting in April is Students of the Month. Second one in April would be perfect.
You mean the 21st?
No, we only have one meeting in April, right? Because
You
the
only have
21st is like,
Spring break.
yeah, so I assume you guys are, some of you are on break too or not? So, yeah, we can't do that.
No.
We need her here for this
Yeah.
one.
So,
So when?
what if we could do a special meeting? Is that
Oh,
something?
absolutely, that's what I was planning on. So, we was trying to get it right. Ms. Boston, I almost said the other F word. Ferris, not very Ferris, okay, I want to be sure everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say that.
about not being here on the 21st, but.
Okay, so when are you out that whole week?
You're on record for lying.
You're here some of that week?
Yes, I am.
Uh,
All of that week, really. I'm not.
you out all week?
We know where she lives. She's not out all week.
What week
But
is that?
I'm taking some days that week.
The week of the 21st and
Is
the
that the
25th.
spring break?
Yeah.
That's the spring.
You want to do like a Thursday? Can you do a Thursday? Or you,
Okay.
can we powwow us and have plan for one of those days during that? Is that okay with you guys?
The week of the 21st.
Yeah, the week of the 21st, like one of those days, if we give you enough time, we could do it like a 7, that way if other people need to travel.
I
Or
don't know
if
if I
you
don't
let-
go into labor. I don't know. So I'm for whatever after 5, but if I'm having a baby, I'm not.
I don't think you'll make it.
Okay.
Alright, so, you can't do that Wednesday?
We can bring the meeting to you, trustees.
Yeah, come to the hospital, y'all better bring it.
Somehow I don't think she's gonna welcome us in the room for that. How is the 24th?
April?
It's Thursday, because Wednesday's no good, or the 22nd.
Both work for me.
Huh? Can you do one of those days?
The 22nd.
22nd?
It's just Earth Day,
Yeah.
so,
22nd.
you know, we can make that work.
All right, 22nd, April 22nd, we could make work.
Trustee Corcoran,
I'll be just getting back from a nice long vacation.
I figured you're gonna be on a vacation somewhere, but you'll be back, right?
I'll be back.
Okay, so 4/22 is good.
I believe
April
so.
22nd.
Can we do 6?
Yeah, we can.
It's 6 o'clock or.
I don't know why y'all insist on being here until rapture. Like, six is fair, like, if you be off
I didn't
work,
say nothing was wrong with
y'all like to start at 7, we be here till 11 o'clock at night. I don't understand that. Like,
Yes.
You want tamales?
Tomorrow is everything that
you
day.
say what you say, Chris Bellies? Yes, thank you very
No, we
much.
can do Christmas. I was trying to bribe Dawn with tamales.
All right, 6 o'clock on the 22nd, thank you. We're down to communications, any communication from members of the board?
I have some.
Trustee Corcoran.
Brad Banasic, which is the attorney for MASB, I'm not sure if everyone else received it or not, but he spoke in regards to the Immigration Act. So my question is, the attorneys Miller and Johnson, I noticed that we haven't received any policy changes or amendments to our bylaws, so if they can present something, because it is an actual act now, and it gives instructions that are very pertinent to who would be the designated person, you know, if ICE was to come into our community, you know, and I didn't want to say one line without saying the whole thing, but there's a lot of information there. And we don't have that where someone could actually go look, you know, at a policy.
What did you say the act was?
Immigration Act.
So you're referring to the executive order, I would assume?
1 second, I'm gonna tell you what Brad said. It came from it's the National School Board Associations is where he received it from. It's a guide, and it's called the Immigration Act. And then it goes into the questions and answers.
Yeah,
So-
I'll let me read that.
Okay.
I think you're referring to the president's executive order. There's been no acts recently passed, which would suggest to me we're talking about the president's executive order. Or the letter, more importantly, that he wrote that has left everyone and their mother, their father, their cousin, their
And
distant
me.
auntie, and everyone else baffled. I don't know that there's anything for us to do because we don't even know what they're asking for us to do. No one does. Not people in at the colleges. I read about this the other day. So no one understands what the Trump administration wants us to do. And so when we have no knowledge of what that looks like, I'm not certain we should be doing anything relative to policy.
So if not, then we need to bring awareness to the board members about this, so they can be aware, or we can be aware of some of the things, questions such as, can ICE agents now enter schools? Like, they have an actual answer to that question. So, you know, knowing something is better than not knowing nothing.
Superintendent Abdul-Ahad.
So if you recall in our board updates, we addressed that, but we actually created a link on our school website under community/parents,
Yep.
where it says executive orders impact on education. And it talks about what we know so far. We started doing that in January, along with links to parents, immigration rights, Attorney General Dana Nessel's statement, and Trump's actual orders. And we created that so parents could have a link for quick access. We did include that in updates, but we'll make sure to re-include that in there, but it's right there under.
I think the key, I mean, if you gave it to us already, and I know you did, unless the board needs it again, I'm fine with you not giving it back to us again. You may want to continue communicating that to the parents. That's about it, and as far as I'm concerned. Board members, do you need a primer on this, or do you feel like the information we received from the superintendent is good enough?
I don't, if that
I think
question.
it's fine. I think the meeting was just never reopened.
You're fine? Trustee Crum, you're fine? All right, so as of now, we're gonna stand pat.
So it'll be updated, will you update it?
As soon as we have big meetings to discuss that. We actually have attorney generals come address us. And as soon as we get that information, we put that out there. I send to Brandon, hey Brandon, start this new tab. And then we put it out there. So, but again, his executive orders are always changing, then they freeze. So sometimes we go slow so we could process everything accurately. And then we put it out there one time. That way we don't put it out, retract, put it back out, retract.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows that it is a real active thing and that it happens and that we should be ready. That's all.
I think the news coverage on it has been pretty robust.
But everybody don't watch the news, so that's what I'm saying.
We've covered it on our website. We've communicated to the parents.
Yes.
And it's been communicated to us. If there's an update that needs to occur, whereas right now there isn't, then certainly I would suspect we need to be updated so that the parents, but
And please excuse me, but I'm a little passionate at this because my father was an immigrant, okay? So just want the board and everyone to understand, I have a passion for this. I am a child of an immigrant. So I'll leave that there.
and I too am a child of an immigrant. So my father is not from here either. He's from the West Indies.
And he
So-
never became a citizen.
He did.
Well, mine didn't, that's
Okay,
what I'm
so,
saying.
well, I understand, but I think we've communicated it pretty well, as well as probably most other school districts. There's nothing wrong with being passionate, nothing wrong, we're good. Anything else?
They might come get me, I don't know.
They're not coming to get you. Anything else, trustee Corbin? Okay. Anyone else have anything else? Trustee Tyler?
Right.
To my request, can we get that request, that, information on security? Like I said, it is truly a problem. It's definitely a problem. Parents is going to school cussing teachers out. It's just, I mean, we have to have our kids safe at the end of the day. And so, with things that's going on, we bringing in HR, we got 3 already in there. It's just, I want to see a change in security, and we just had a security breach from our email that we got. And so either Dean Burke come talk to us on a strategy plan or what we got going on. Then the other piece to this is, when we go to these buildings, I'm saying to all our board members, go in and check these buildings. Go in and see what's going on at the end of the day, because we are the next voice to the people. And so, that we know what's going on. And so even in us going in these buildings, we gotta be treated right.
Period.
And today I wasn't. Today I wasn't.
It was disrespected.
So how was you treated?
Yes, I mean, it was not right. And so, and I'm in these schools, I'm in my community. And so I'm just saying that from this point on, that all of us as board members, we should be able to go in these buildings, check or have extra walkthroughs or whatever, and get these buildings done. Walk through today, garbage cans, leaking buildings. No, kids should be able to go to the bathroom. That's civil rights.
Why are the bathrooms closed?
So, what we'll do, if you're okay with this, trustee Tyler, Mr. Dulac, can we get a report out on security plans and as well as facilities? I believe Dean Berg handling all of it.
So what is the request? Because we did a survey, we sent the survey, so what is being requested?
The request is to understand what the security plans are for our schools and how they're being managed based on the personnel that they have allotted to those schools. It seems to me, I'm not speaking for trustee Tyler, so if I say something that's not correct, let me know, that there is not enough security personnel because we're closing off bathrooms because we don't want the kids to go in there.
Yes, sir.
And that's the concern that I think she's relaying. So if we could talk more about that, if that's a part of the plan, how are we going to get to a place where that's not a part of the plan? What we need to do. I understand that the school was set up for many more students than we currently have. I understand that. What I have since heard is that some of our students are late going to class because they have to go around the building, there's bathrooms, things of that nature, and then they get in trouble, stuff like that. So how are we going to manage that differently if we need to do so? What is the plan around that relative to those types of things? So if we can get that much to start, I think that would be good. It doesn't have to come from you.
No, I know, right. So, and just to correct something, there was no security breach today, we had EMS called.
No, I didn't take today.
Okay.
Didn't take
So,
today.
and then on the flip side, are we good there?
Yeah.
On that request? Okay. On the flip side, I want to, based on trustee Tyler's comments, I want to remind the board, and you heard what she said, that she had, she had let the superintendent know she was going. We cannot show up at these schools, and I'm not saying she did it, I just want to be clear so that when you do show up, We cannot show up at these schools unannounced. We should let the superintendent know we want to go. Make sure he has someone available for us when we go. Remember that these folks still have a job to do during the day, and if we go, we're taking away from what they would be doing. So if we want to do that, fair enough, but unless you're a parent, you're going to pick up your kid, or you're going to a game or a function, like typical stuff. If we want to go into a school, let's reach out to the superintendent, give them a heads up. I do that anyway. Like, for example, it's March's Reading Month, and I'm sure you've all received a communication to go in and read at Lessinger, at least at Lessinger. I know I did. And I've gone before, so I look forward to going again. But even though I got that invitation, I still say, hey man, I'm going into the school, I'm going to do some reading, just letting you know. So it's there's no surprises, right? And so we have to, and this is not coming from me. Like I called Rod Green, who does a lot of our training, and I just wanted to understand how other districts do it. It's not written in policy, but it is a unwritten agreement between us and the administration. Okay, can everybody understand that?
Do we have to give a heads up to come here?
No.
You don't need to give a heads up to come here, but at the same time, you can't come here and just walk in and expect to get what you want. Does that make sense? Like, oh, I want to see so-and-so. Well, so-and-so might be in a meeting. So-and-so might not be here. They might be somewhere else, some training, or one of the buildings. So-and-so might be doing something else. They can't be disturbed at that moment. But if you give a heads up, then at least
What if so-and-so call us to come give paperwork?
Well, then
it's okay to come up here without giving a heads up.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is, like, we're not here for gotcha moments.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're here to work in concert with the administration. So if you want to come up here, let somebody know, hey, you got time for me to meet with you. If they do, fine. You should run all those requests through the superintendent anyway. But if, for example, and I know this happens, Ms. Greer calls you and say, hey, I need you to come, and really, she's too nice. She'll come to your home and deliver that stuff, which I keep telling her, don't come to my house and deliver it, I'll come to you. But she won't listen. So sometimes if you need to come here and do something, that's understandable. My point is simply just off the street, no warning, come in. Hey, I want to come. I want to meet with Mrs. Foster. I want to meet with Mrs. Foster. I need to know what's happening with the finances. That's not okay, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, it's fine. Talk to Superintendent Abdullah, get you some time, but just know that the time you spend meeting with these folks means that's time that they're not doing things that we want them to do.
Right.
So it's best to set an appointment?
Absolutely best to set an appointment. Yes. Trustee Top.
Are you finished? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. At the end of the day, there do come times when you definitely need to make an appointment. But I worked in the school system for 14 and a half years. And board members were always allowed to come into the schools. And it's not that it's I heard you, one thing that caught my attention, a gotcha moment. It's not that.
I'm not suggesting that it's always that.
Well, I heard what you said, so I got a rebuttal to it. And so it's not a gotcha moment. It's a moment of saying, hey, I'm stopping through today. And so, but like I said at the beginning, yes, you do. I know protocol. Protocol, you let the superintendent know, and I definitely let my president know as a courtesy. But at the end of the day, even in doing that, and I'm just going to my situation, they knew I was coming today. They knew I was coming. They knew it. And I was still handled the wrong way. And that's my issue. And I'm going to say it again.
Was your
It was
wrong way?
wrong.
Were you denied? What's the wrong way?
I was told to come, I was told by the superintendent to come by there today. And in that, I still.
Let me correct.
Hold on.
Wait, let her finish.
Hold on.
Yeah, but that's
Let her
correct.
finish. Trustee Tyler.
To come today. Because I told him that it needs to be taken down by Monday morning. And he said, okay. He said, and I said, okay, I'm coming on Monday. And he said, okay. He told me to go by the principal's office. He said, go by the principal's office, and then from there. I went by, she was not available. At the end of the day, that's fine. I'm good with that. And then I go down, and about time I come back, they got Mr. Falk at the door for me. That's unacceptable. And they knew I was coming.
Who was Mr. Fall?
The principal of Nova
Oh, no.
And
director.
and director of security.
Oh, okay.
He knew that I was coming. And that's my issue. It's not that I went and stepped out of something. I know protocol, teach it. I called. When I did that walkthrough, the next person I called, I got time to stamp it. I called my president to let him know. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to do stuff out of order. And that's not me, not an out of order person. But at the end of the day, there come times when that I believe as board members, we should be able to go into our schools that they elected us for. And not to take away, and I know the protocol for it is not to mess with the operation of the day. And so when you say that aha moment, it caught me, it rang in my spirit.
The gotcha moment.
And did that gotcha moment. That's not it. And we,
I want you to know that I wasn't saying that you did that.
if we used maybe a different terminology for it.
I
mean,
wasn't
I'm
suggesting
just-
that that's what you did.
Okay,
I
I want
was
to be
saying
very clear.
that we should
Very
not
clear.
do that. So I
Very
want to be
clear.
clear with what I said. I never
Okay.
said that you did a gotcha moment.
not
I said
it. I
that
was
that's not
talking- my
what we should be
superintendent
doing.
knew.
So can I be clear now?
You can make your
Because I
point.
allowed you to speak, so allow
Yes.
me to speak.
Yes.
Policy 6203 you violated today. I reviewed the cameras, you walked around the building unaccompanied for 45 minutes.
That's not true.
Yes, it is, because I reviewed the cameras myself, and I'll be happy to review. Now, you cannot direct the superintendent to do anything on your own. So when you say, I told them that better be taken down by Monday, it doesn't work like that. Policy states, when you make an observation, you are to let the superintendent know. Now, the superintendent and operations, they need a plan. They don't just operate, no, I let you speak.
I'm gonna let you. I'm
So I'm
gonna
gonna speak. So, you went in, you walked around for 45 minutes unaccompanied. So when the director of security asked you to leave, then he asked you to leave. I asked you, did the board president give you approval to be there? What did you say to me? Because you told me I'm coming on Monday. I said to you, Tyler, I don't want to know. I should have just been clear with you and said no.
It's not what
You
was stated.
cannot just, so going forward,
It's not what
the
was stated.
procedure
It's
is,
stated that way.
the procedure under 6203 is the following. If you would like to see the building, anyone, apart from the parents. Now, the parents are operating in your parameters as parents. That's totally different. But if you're going into another building, as your duty as a board member, you need approval by me. And what I'm asking, and I'm letting you know, that you are not to be unaccompanied going forward. That was my mistake. It will never happen again.
Okay.
No, I'm
Can
still
I re-
speaking. I'm still speaking. You cannot be unaccompanied. You cannot be unaccompanied. That is policy. We had that in the orientation, which you attended. In the OCSBA orientation, you attended it, and it was clear that board members are not to be around in the buildings. Now, yes, you have constituents that you answer to, but nothing has to do with you walking around freely in a building where I have students in school and class in session. So now that I'm clear with my stance on it, I'll know how to handle the board going forward.
All right.
Trustee
Can
Tyler,
I
you have
rebuttal? Yes, I do.
something you want to say?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
So, you're saying now that, I just have one question. Did you not tell me to go, sir?
No, I did not.
Oh, Jesus.
I told you,
Oh,
I
Jesus.
don't want to know.
Oh, Jesus.
You said, tell them I'm coming on Monday. I said, I don't want to
Oh,
know.
Jesus.
Okay, Trustee Corcoran, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to go back to how we got here. We went on a site visit. It was, how long has the laboratories been out of service?
A year.
Wouldn't that be the
So
facility?
the first time that I walked around and I seen it, she highlighted it. I went back and said, Tiffany, find out for me what's going on. So it takes time for that to happen.
I'm sorry about the eyebrow raise, but how, so no one knows how long the bathroom's been out?
So again, that's not a clear answer because we have to do our due diligence to find out what's going
So the
on.
principal
Principal's not here.
No, I'm not about to ask about the principal, but in the org chart, or excuse me, yes, it says board, or community board, you, and then principals under you. So at what point, someone had to put that there, right, for the laboratories?
So building principals, they supervise their own buildings, right? So when a board member, policy 6203, Dawn, because you're big on policy, states, when a board member observes something, they are to notify the superintendent immediately.
So hold on,
you identified
let
it.
me stop us really quick. This is communications time, really. This is not Q and A.
I thought this was communications.
It is, so if you have something you want to communicate, you have the right to communicate it. But it's not back and forth, it's what you want to say. So this is not like a Q and A time, this is for your time to communicate whatever you want to communicate.
Okay, so.
She communicated what she wanted to
Okay, I'm
communicate.
gonna communicate.
Okay.
Communication is lavatories, water fountains should be a part of a daily maintenance. We received a survey. The survey had bathrooms for the schools that were surveyed. At what point in that survey that it didn't recognize that these lavatories were unused or what have you? However, I would like to see a time frame to when those lavatories can be accessible. Because this is something that hopefully not get on the front page of a newspaper, because we have unoperable bathrooms.
And Dawn, I think the rest of the board would agree with you, and I think as a byproduct of what we asked for already relative to the security plan, I think that should cover your request.
Thank you. Because I was a parent that walked in class, in the hallways all the time. When my daughter was there, if I would have saw that, I would have brought it to the attention quickly. But I'm just saying, we have a facilities person who should be in that building a lot because there's construction going on. So I was just, I'm just a little appalled that we are now just finding out, or when it was, I don't know. But hopefully we can just rectify the situation.
Okay, so let's make that a part of the request, so that should be a part of the conversation that we have, and Dean Burr should be able to provide us with some response.
I'll provide an update on my week.
That would be helpful, but we also want to hear from James. Thank you.
And also, how many security guards are there?
That should be a part of the security plan. So I think that, are we good? Okay, everybody, and we're all set on the request? Okay. Anything else from the members of the board?
This is the last meeting of the month for Black History Month. And I would like to say that I wish I can join that Black History, event that they're going to have, but I just hope that one of us or some of us can attend that Black History event. And of course that Ruby Bridges, since we were quizzed by our president.
Didn't quiz you. Y'all getting real sensitive tonight. I didn't quiz you.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God.
But however, that's all I have to say.
He the one that probably feel like I quizzed him out of anything. All right.
Also, I will be going to the Einstein performance,
Oh, good for you.
so I'll be there
I
Friday
just have to
morning.
make
You got a little one?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Anything else from members of the board? From the administration? All right, hearing none, we're at adjournment. Trustee Perriman, I see you getting yourself together. You got it, or you want me to do it?
I never done it. I want to do it.
It's on the bottom of the agenda. Here you go.
Okay, adjournment.
The
The next meeting of the Board of Education will be held Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom at the administration building.
Thank you. The time is now 7:25. Without objection, we'll pass a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:25. Is there an objection to doing so?
No.
Hearing none, we're hereby adjourned. Thank you.